crew. The crew, the gunner, will set the gun for those coordinates, and in the meantime, the number 2 and number 3 are preparing the rounds, setting fuses, possibly putting booster charges every round. You could take up to 4 additional charges that would increase its range. They look like little donuts, little canvas donuts. So they go right over the tail fins, and it boosts the charge. So Sergeant Jerry has gotten a call for fire mission, if you will. So he's telling the crew that they're going to fire a ladder pattern, and that's a pattern to basically cover a lot of area with a lot of shrapnel. So the number 2 is the one feeding the gun. He's picking the rounds up, he's dropping them down the tube. Once he gets the command to fire, he's going to fire whatever mission that was. In this case, it's a 3-round mission. He's going to fire those 3 rounds. When they're all gone, he's going to report rounds complete. So the gun sergeant knows, the gun corporal knows that there's no more rounds. The whole fire mission has been completed. He will then wait for a report from the observer, whoever called in that mission, to see what the effect of that fire was. In some cases, they may have hit the target and been done. In other cases, they may have to adjust for an enemy that's retreating or advancing or trying to move out of the area. It may be a vehicle column, it may be a personnel column, infantry. It may be a fixed position, trench line, foxholes, pillbox, although a 60mm mortar wouldn't really affect the pillbox too much, but it would affect the area around it. So in this case, they got an adjustment, and they're going to add 30 yards to their fire. Number 2 reports the rounds are ready, in which case the sergeant's going to give the command to fire when he's ready. Once again, rounds are complete. A good mortar crew could get their range with 1 round. We had heard from a vet who'd said that there was a guy he was in a crew with that was so good that if you pointed out what you wanted to hit, he would hit it on the 2nd round. In this case, there was a sniper or a rifleman up in a 2nd-story window. The 1st round hit the roof. He had his range, and the 2nd round put it right in the window where the rifleman was shooting at, the enemy rifleman, and neutralized him. So mortarmen, they didn't need the sight after a while. They could just eyeball it and figure where that round was going to land, which was a great skill to have under pressure. So thank you very much to our mortar crew, Scott O'Geary, Lucas Gigia, Christian Fries, Aiden Fitzpatrick, huh? Zach, I'm sorry, it's Zach out there. They did a switch on me, and Steve Snyder carrying the radio. We're going to bring out our 1919 A4, and First Sergeant Michaud is going to give you the talk on that. I'm going to walk over and give him the microphone. Thank you very much.
All right, folks. Shortly we'll have the machine gun squad coming up here, so we'll do a little demonstration for you on that as soon as we get our next man. What's necessary for most squads, most companies, platoons, all right, in order for them to move effectively against an entrenched enemy or to set up an ambush. In most senses, a section of 3 machine guns, just like the mortars, were part of the weapons company, and they were dispersed as necessary to the different units that they needed them at the time. Sometimes an individual gun was sent with a squad, depending on the mission that they were on, but for the most part, it was an integral part of the offensive force of most armies. In our particular case, our squad is carrying the model 1919 A4 air-cooled machine gun. The 1919 A4 was developed by John Browning, who had the 1917 water-cooled machine gun that was developed right at the very end of World War I. And then they ended up making an air-cooled version, which made it a lot easier to maintain and less weight to carry when they had to move quickly. Our particular gun fired at different kinds of ammunition, normally ball ammunition, sometimes armor piercing, sometimes tracer, all right, depending on the target and what they were shooting at. So our particular group that was here, all right, you had the section commander, which is Scott Lennon, all right. Aiden Kilpatrick is our ammo bearer. Lucas Legelia is carrying the tripod, and Christian Fries is our gunner. So at this point, when they come into action, they will go forward. The section commander will point and let them know where that tripod is to be put down and the gun attached. The gun fired approximately 500 to 600 rounds a minute, which is a lot of bullets going down range. The Germans, they had a little faster ones. MG-34s were about 800 rounds a minute, and MG-42s were 1,200 bullets a minute. 20 bullets a second would come out. They had to carry a lot of ammo, so that was a fearful gun as well. Our gun was robust and accurate and held up very well during combat, and these were used even through parts of Vietnam during that war. All right, Sergeant, move them out.
Set that truck on. So get that gun up, let's go, get that gun up, come on. Get that gun up, let's go. Get the gun up, let's go, come on. Go, get that gun up. Go. Just far left, just far left.
Okay, good job, fellas. All right, as you can see, even that's a semi-automatic version of a fully automatic gun. It gives you a pretty good idea of what they had to do in order to accomplish their mission. So we hope you learned a little bit from that. We appreciate coming out today. And again, if you have any questions or interest in becoming part of what we do, the green fly over by the artillery will take your information. And thanks so much for coming out today. Enjoy your day, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
Yes.
Lennon, we good to go? Okay. Move out. Weapon secure? All right, good to go. Okay, well, we have our Sergeant Scott Lennon as our section leader. We have our gunner, which is Lucas Legelia. We have Aiden Kilpatrick, and we have Chris Fries. So thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the Browning light machine gun.
They re-engineered it, modified it, and it became the Panzer Schruck, the Panzer Faust. Similar weapon, a little bit bigger, was pretty powerful. But I think it's best right now to just demonstrate it.
Thank you, Lindsay. Usually a two-man team, if I'm not mistaken, a loader and, of course, the gunner himself. You'll see why we needed a separate personnel to load the rocket, which Lindsay just withdrew from the bag there.
Here, Dane, look at the rocket. Dane.
It's fired electrically.
Come here.
Oh, they got a flyer.
What? What?
Over there.
At the tank?
The loader has tapped the gunner on the helmet, let him know that it's loaded and set to go.
Shoot it right now. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, great.
No, see, put it in.
Oh! Okay.
Hear that?
Nicely done, gentlemen. Thank you. Great display. M1, A1 bazooka, and crew.
I know.
He knows what he's talking about. This is Mr. Lindsay Wolfer.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The M1A1 rocket launcher, but we all call it the bazooka. As far as the 3.5-pound rocket with an effective range of 150 yards. Yes, it can take out a tank if you hit it in the right place. Also used for soft targets, machine gun guns, things like that. It was called the M1A1 in the beginning. It was modified over the course of the years, and by the time the Vietnam War came, it was the M72 Mortars, which could be folded up and placed in a backpack. At the beginning of World War II, the Germans didn't have a bazooka rocket, but lucky for them, they found some of ours laying on the battlefield, and they liked it, redesigned it, and called it the Panzerschreck or Panzerfaust. That's how they got their bazooka. So let's demonstrate.
All right, so you see the bazooka man taking a typical stance on one knee. The rocket, Lindsay's got the rocket, loading it into the bazooka. It's electrically fired. He's going to make the connections. He's going to let his gunner know, just like that, when it's safe to fire the rocket round. Thank you, gentlemen.